Are you a shear sharpener and you're wanting to know what's the best way to improve or hone your sharpening skills? I'd like to suggest the International Scissor Sharpeners Association certification. I think you need to know where you are to know where you need to improve. And the International Scissor Sharpeners Association is a very subjective certification. I'm Bonnie Megowan, Bonika Shears, and I damage the shears, I send them out to you, I evaluate them online, and you're going to see exactly these shears that I'm going to evaluate. And you become a lifetime member of the ISSA. You become a member whether you certify or not, so you get the nice card even if you don't certify. So you haven't wasted your money. But the evaluation, I'm looking to see if you know how to bevel a bevel, convex a convex, and do they cut? Are they sharp? Just basic sharpening, nothing extreme, no realigning blades or bending handles or anything like that. And we're going to look at a pair, and I don't know how these people sharpen, and I really don't care. I guess I do care because it's interesting to me, but you can be using anyone's equipment or any method. It's just what's the end result, and that's what we're looking at. These came in from someone on the East Coast, and there's a written evaluation, and I have the two shears here. So this is what you get, the two shears that we damage. There might be some variances in the shears, but they're going to be pretty much these. Then you have a multiple choice test. Now, no one fails because they failed the written test. This is as much for me to see where they might be going wrong, and I'll give you the correct answers. So what fails you or passes you is how do these shears cut, because that's the bottom line. I mean, whether you can pass a written test or not is not important to a stylist or a groomer. It's do my shears cut. So I'm going to look this over real quick, and if any they've missed, I'm going to go over. Check out some of my other videos. I have a lot on this channel. This channel is nothing but International Scissor Sharpeners Association evaluation. If you want to do this test, I suggest watch several of these. I don't know if you have time to watch all of them, but I've added one or two questions here recently, so make sure you watch some of the more recent videos I've uploaded. So let's see, I'm going over this real quick. You want to know the tricky one? The tricky one is, what is the traditional cut test material to see if a shear will push hair? And the answer is hair. All right, let's look at these shears. So first of all, I'm going to look and see whether the beveled edge looks beveled and if the convex looks convex. So you're going to look at these with me. So this one is supposed to be convex, this one's supposed to be beveled, and we put a number on them. So the convex one's a little tricky because that particular factory that makes these puts a tiny semi-convex, a tiny bevel on them. And I'm looking to see whether you know how to, reconvex it, because a lot of times our sharpening is, frankly, going behind other bad sharpeners and, fixing it, making a beveled edge a convex. So this is the beveled edge. And it looks good. He left the serrations on mostly. It looks like he took some of the serrations off. But that looks good. So when I'm talking beveled edge, I'm talking it's going to be flat. And you can actually see, when I turn it back and forth in here, you can see like a flat surface where the edge is. Let me zoom in so you can see that maybe a little bit better. So it's actually like a flat surface there. Okay, convex, a little trickier. I'm looking to see whether these roll over to nothing. And that looks pretty good. I have seen better, but not many. In fact, I think I'm going to put this on my magnifier so you can see. this is sort of what I'm looking for. You see how that disappears to nothing? As I said, I have seen better, but not many. These look really good. So if they cut, they pass. So now what am I cutting? I'm going to cut, first of all, wet tissue. The wet tissue tells me whether they are, well, I'm going to cut dry and then wet. Wet tissue, just plain old toilet tissue, but it's the really, really thin paper. Frankly, we just got back off a cruise, a transatlantic cruise on Norwegian. And the paper in the bathrooms was even thinner than this. So, but I'm sure they do that for the environment. So dry first, and this is number 316785. So I don't reveal the name. I'm pulling my thumb out and closing it. That cut nice dry. Pulling my thumb out, closing it. Ugh. Took a little pressure. Let's see how it cuts wet. Sometimes the best looking shears aren't necessarily the ones that cut the best. Let's see. Excuse my cluttered up, messy area here. I've been gone for the last 2 weeks. Of course, that's no excuse because I'm the one that messes it up. It probably should be better. Okay, so I'm wetting this. I like to mist. And this is the convex edge. Pulling my thumb out. Okay, that cuts wet. And what this tissue does, it tells me if all the nicks and the burrs are gone. And it is. Let's see how the dry one does. Let's see how the beveled edge one does. It's not cutting at all. I don't think it's the nicks. I'm thinking when you have these little plastic handles, you need to have that adjusted so tight that it doesn't even move. I think the whole problem is a loose screw. Let's see how they cut hair. I'll lay this dark hair against something light so you can see really well. We'll zoom in. So on the convex, I'm wanting it to cut straight, but I'm also wanting it to be able to slide cut a little bit. So let's see, pulling my thumb out again. Nice crisp cut. It slides. Feels nice and sharp. The convex edge passes. Beveled edge. And these beveled edge ones are tricky. You know, I didn't look at the rod line when I was looking at them and examining them. The rod line looks correct on this one. Rod line looks correct on this one. What we're talking about is that little shiny line on the inside. This one, you're not supposed to work the rod line. If you do, you'll mess it up. So, pulling my thumb out, see, it just folds. I think the problem is the screw is loose. I'm going to tighten the screw. Normally, I don't tighten the screw, but I've been gone and I can't find my screwdriver. Well, if you can't find a screwdriver, you can use one of these little UFO tools because they all have the little flat. This is the pyramid, and this is my SUFO. It gives me a little bit more leverage than this one. So I think I'm going to use this one. Go in here. I'm giving it a pretty good turn. I want it where it doesn't fall at all. Now, cuts fine. So here's my dilemma. Put in the comments below what you think I should do here. Technically, he didn't pass because they did not cut. But the only problem was the screw was loose. Very common, very typical, but the hairstylist wouldn't know that. She would get them back and think, oh, he just sharpened these, and they don't cut. They're flipping and folding hair. And you've got to be knowledgeable enough to know to tighten the screw. And when they're light handles like this, you want them, they shouldn't fall down because they're too light to It's early morning here. More coffee, yeah. Oh, now the brain's engaged. Okay, so when they're light handles, you're not going to get the same fall. Actually, in the factories, they're not doing this sort of free fall that we teach. Whoa, that one's really loose too. It passed, even though it's loose. In the factories, they're kind of doing some kind of a flicking with their thumb and just seeing if it feels right. I've watched them because I've trained in some factories. So this one, they kind of, and so even though that one's loose, because it's, yeah. I'm not going to pass this person until I hear back from them that they understand about tightening the screws. So even this one, even though it passed, should be a lot tighter, because what happens after they've opened and closed it a couple of times, the screw will loosen up, then they're folding hair and they're complaining to their sharpener. The number one complaint you're going to get from the stylist or groomers is that the shears you just sharpened are now dull, they'll call it. And then you ask them on the phone, say, well, are they folding hair? And you saw how this flipped hair. And if they are, it's probably just they have a screw loose. And trying to explain over the phone how to tighten the screw is almost impossible. Now, I'll put a link at the end of this video and down below that you can share and explain to them. It's a playlist, how to tighten the screw on their shears, so you can send it to them. Or my suggestion is just go back to the salon to show that you really care and tighten their screw for them and teach them how to do it. But I'm not going to pass him until he gives me a call and after watching the video, and we'll talk about the screws, and then we'll go ahead and pass them. If you disagree, put that in the comments. If you agree, put it in the comments. Some of these things are kind of hard to decide whether to pass them or not, because his customers would not be happy, but I can't see sending them back for him to tighten the screw and send them back to me. That's silly. So, future congratulations to this sharpener. And he passed with a little. So that goes back to what I said at the beginning. What's the best way to improve or hone your sharpening skills? And this person, just by doing this evaluation, probably went up several levels, because I bet he or she, it's actually is a he, I bet he never ever gives a shear to someone with a loose screw again after this. So this has been, sometimes just one little tip can make a huge difference in your sharpening career. So good luck in the future to you and those of you that are watching that are wanting to do the evaluation. Just go to our website and we'll send you out your own little envelope with shears in it. So what's your thoughts about the International Scissor Sharpeners Association? Is this ISSA certification, is it a walk in the park, or is it a little more difficult? Let's see what you can do. If you want to be certified, if you want to join the ISSA, it's for those that are certified, it's more than just a piece of paper. It's more than just an ID card. So links below is going to tell you how to be a part of the ISSA and also to get your swag and your merchandise. If you're ready to take your sharpening skills to the next level, I've got you covered, whether it's a certification or upgrading your equipment or getting some more sharpening training. That's what we're about. So call the red-headed sharpening lady, Bonnie at Bonika Shears. And remember, stay sharp, my friends.